Citizens of the Reject Nation. How you doing, John?
I'm good, G. How are you?
I'm good. We have not been covering that many trailers as of late. A lot of the focus on what we do here has obviously been more with the movie and TV show reactions. That obviously takes up a good chunk of time in terms of assembly and whatnot. And we've also found that generally, it took us many, many years to learn this, but covering too many trailers can actually sometimes take away the experience of doing the movies and shows because it's easier to piece things together. That being said, we still like doing trailers. We still love movie trailers as much as the next person. It's a big part of what made this channel really big in the first place. So we wanted to do a little bit of trailer catch-up. Now, we know that there's been more that has come out than what we were going to cover today, but we already covered the first trailers for those. And we're already going to cover them for the channel when they're out. I'm talking about House of the Dragon and The Boys. But there's 3 new trailers this week that I was like, you know what? If we're going to cover all 3 of these, I want to see the trailers for them. So the first one we're going to cover is Rings of Power, Season Dose. Woo! Second one, Dune Prophecy. Third one, Megalopolis. Okay, Megalopolis. Now there's timestamps if you guys don't want to watch the reactions for all of them. If you want to skip around, you please feel free to go around the timestamps all you want. But we're going to kick this off with Rings of Power after we roll that bumper. All right, Rings of Power. Here we go. I'm sort of excited for this. I mean, we weren't too keen on the first season, that's for sure.
Super okay.
Let's see if they course correct anything. I'm excited to find out what this visually at least is going to look like. 3, 2, 1, and
Sauron, Mordor, and evil, ancient and powerful, has returned.
Whoa.
Gooey.
Hello there.
Prepare yourselves.
Oh,
Looks cool.
cool circular fellowship shot.
All together. It is very much a reminder of the Fellowship.
He worms his way inside your mind. The crest of him slithers in.
Damn. What
I
is he
think he has
smelting?
been here. I think he's been here among us all along.
Galadriel sounds worried.
Disguised as an elf.
Yeah. Them raven feathers.
Wow.
Every
That's
soul
a huge
in
boss.
Middle Earth is in peril.
No!
Oh, when the season goes darker.
And
Look
in
at our
darkness
rings.
by them.
Look at our lollipop ring.
My man!
Woo. There was our Gandalf.
Yeah.
You Sauron.
It's kind of neat. It's kind of neat.
That's pretty cool. It looks like so many things I recognize from the movies.
Yeah.
I love familiarity. Familiarity is awesome.
Yeah, man, gotta keep the franchise going at all costs. We gotta keep pushing forward by looking backward.
What'd you think?
It looks pretty cool, you know? I'm obviously going to proceed with some level of caution, but they certainly doubled down on the foreboding, on the unsettling sound palette, the creatures, the elements. You know, you're in places that feel so dusty in one breath, and then so fiery and sweaty in another breath, and then so cold in yet another breath. So it looks epic, and it looks scopic, which the first season certainly did in a more sort of, mystical kind of way. So I like the intensity, and now it's still just up to them to, do some rich storytelling.
Yeah. To do some character enhancements.
Yeah, it's cool to see Galadriel worried. I guess that bodes well, because in the first season she was pretty unbothered by stuff. So,
And we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Well, it's Rings of Power, so you know that there's automatically going to be a lot of discourse around this. I feel like if you didn't watch the first season and you just saw this trailer, I don't feel like it would be the same level of discourse that happened with the marketing with the first Rings of Power season, right?
No,
This feels like very much Lord of the Rings, more like the movies than before. It so much seems to be evoking that on all fronts. In fact, I'm not sure what really would, if I hadn't seen the first season, I wouldn't even be entirely sure what makes this distinguishably that different. It just feels like Sauron Origins is what we're watching.
Yeah.
Like, it seems like this season is going to be heavily focused on that. And now that a lot of the mysteries have sort of been laid out, I feel like the only thing they haven't made abundantly clear is that the stranger is more than likely Gandalf, you know?
What?
Yeah.
No, impossible.
It seems
Can't
to be
be.
the one thing that they have not fully cleared up. But I think as a trait, like literally any concern going into this is not from what they presented itself here. The concern is only from the experience of the first season. Now, I know a lot of people still really enjoyed that first season, so I'm not sliding. If you have that feeling, please hold on to that feeling. Cherish that feeling. And let's hope other people can have that feeling going into this season, because at the end of the day, a lot of people work on this shit. A lot of people really care about it. So I would hope that they take some lessons of what obviously, even if you did like it, clearly it did not, register with a lot of the people who tuned in for it. They need to do some course correcting, bottom line too. I don't know, the word's not recruit, but appeal
recoup
to
some of the goodwill.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So overall, rich in visuals as usual. A lot of familiarity. I like it when it goes darker.
Yeah.
So
I do too. Let's get some icky creatures going.
let's get some ickiness going, and we know where this is going.
got big
We're going to the
battles.
goddamn rings. Let's get to it.
There was at least one ring already in the
There's a lot of
trailer,
rings.
so There you go. Yeah.
There's so many rings in this trailer.
All bound in darkness, baby.
Well, that's our Prime Video one. Let's see what Max has to offer us with their prequel now.
Let's go.
Dune Prophecy. All right, Dune Prophecy. I don't know jack about this. In fact, I didn't even know they were making this until a trailer came out.
Yep. I thought this was a distant glimmer in Denis' eye.
So did I. I thought this was just one of those rumored things. I did not realize they were actually knee deep into production, that we're getting this year. But the Dune world, man, I imagine Denis somewhat involved. And let's find out what's going on here. Hopefully it reminds us of the movies.
Oh, yeah. The David Lynch ones.
Of course.
10,000 years before the birth of Paul Atreides,
It's a long
before
time
the
ago.
universe would know us as the Bene Gesserit,
Of course.
Before they were known as the Bene Gesserit.
we founded a sisterhood.
Oh, so it's about like the creation of them. That's cool.
The
Assigned
Witches of
to the great
Dathomir.
houses to help them sift truth from lies.
Mark Strong.
This looks like Game of Thrones meets Dune.
We created a network of influence throughout the Imperium.
Damn.
But power comes with a price.
Love me some Mark Strong.
A sister on the throne. Nothing is more important.
You gotta change everything. Get the antioxidants.
And this is the marriage that makes it possible. This is us playing God. And we will be judged for it.
Cool.
Harkonnen.
The Harkonnens, okay. Oh,
Thanks. All the elements collide.
Sisterhood above all.
Jeez.
Sometimes you hear about that they're going to make a prequel show or whatever, and you go, "Ugh, okay, whatever. But there's something about Dune, it's because of how rich the world is and how much of time span they hint at, even for what's to come in the future, from the timeline that we are currently feeling in cinema. I don't gawk at all at the prospect of them doing a prequel series, and I believe this is based on a book as well. This looks really good. This looks really cool. This feels like a great, solid mystery. And to see the origins of how the Bene Gesserit came to form and then become this ultimate power in the shadows, I think is a really awesome idea to actually see done. And see, like, starting from 10,000 years ago, they said? Holy shit.
Was
Hold
it
on.
10 or 1,000? So some
10,000
some
years at the top.
huge, amount of time. And that's cool because I
And
feel
then
like
the Harkonnens as well.
Yeah. And I mean, Dune is a story that obviously is dealing in politics across vast amounts of time. And so I feel like, especially, I mean, I don't know which book in this tandem this might be drawing from, and I understand that Frank Herbert's works are greatly more respected than those of his son. But I don't know, yeah, especially with the kind of show this is, it looks like it could balance out those crazy ass production values that we're used to seeing that we love, but also it could continue. I could see the point of doing this as like a, political allegory, because we live in a world where it's easy to look at the here and now of politics when even our own world is affected by generations of decision making. And that's so much of what the Bene Gesserit is about, is these plans laid out over decades and centuries and things like that. So I mean, yeah, it's got all the epic scale that you want. It's got Mark friggin' Strong and that one lady whose name I should know, who's a great actress who's in a bunch of stuff.
Kind of makes me mad at Paul Atreides, though.
Yeah.
Kind of makes me really mad at him.
Yeah.
They did it for 10,000 years in the making, and then Paul Atreides goes and messes up everything.
Yeah, dude. Where do you get off, bro?
To become the perfect product of the Bene Gesserit.
Yeah,
That's kind of
man.
messed up, man.
Yeah.
So
The more you try
Wow.
to thwart your fate, the more you bring it about.
Paul really is the enemy.
He is. I hate him.
But the music sounds great. I wonder who's doing the music for it. Sounds like Dune music.
Does sound like Dune music. Well, that's the thing now, is it's either going to be somebody in Hans's camp, or just somebody who's been tasked with like, study this, and we need some more of that.
Yeah.
Study the old soundtracks.
I mean, there's solid visuals all around. I don't know who any of these characters are. I'd love to get to know some new characters. So,
Sure, I'm sure they will all be warm and inviting.
well, this feels like an HBO series,
Yeah, definitely.
And I think that's part of the appeal behind it. I'm more excited for this than I am for Rings of Power.
Agree. I mean, and I mean the direct connectivity does inspire some level of optimism, certainly, and being that you also have, not that they're directly related, but the fact that Max has also got Penguin coming out, and Penguin looks as good as it does, and it is also kind of in tandem with, or in some correlation with, the movie side, the Batman. Like, this feels like this could be that for Dune, and both feel right now like they could be pretty great attempts at bridging a TV and films gap that has been so sought after in recent years by many a streaming service.
That's very true. That's very true. What do you guys think of the Dune trailer? You excited for it?
Oh,
Leave them thoughts down below, mofos.
yeah. What kind of popcorn bucket do you want for this show?
I didn't see a goddamn sandworm once in there.
No! There's a lot of cool particulate simulations, though. That was good.
All right, on to Megalopolis. Okay, so here we go. Francis Ford Copolla said he did over 300 rewrites for this movie. About like 40 years in development that he's been trying to get this off the ground. Paid for it with his own money. He sold his grandchildren.
He saved
that
all
way
his
he can do
allowance.
this. Yeah, he's doing everything. He set aside $1 a week.
For 40 years. This is what we got. I'm excited. Let's see. Has he still got it?
Let's hope so. Let's find out.
American Zoetrope. Woo! Civil War.
Does an empire die? Does it collapse in one terrible moment?
Whoa.
No.
The fall of an empire.
But there comes a time when people no longer believe in it.
Thought I recognized that fucking.
Whoa!
What? It's like Blade Runner.
$1 a week.
calcified. Yeah, $1 a week. That's all it takes. How often do you think of the Roman Empire?
Yeah, so New
Is
York is
this
an allegory
society?
for that.
Is this way we're living
Wow.
the only one that's available to us?
Damn. I did not think
Whoa.
I'd be excited for this movie.
Jesus.
Shia LaBeouf.
When
Dustin
we
Hoffman.
ask these questions, when there's a dialogue about them,
My God.
that basically is a utopia.
Bisexual lighting. A fable, eh? All right, it's gonna teach us a lesson. Or wowie!
Look,
Look at
famous
that
people.
cast. Look at the cast on that.
That looks nothing like The Godfather.
Nothing at all like The Godfather. I'll tell you that. It doesn't look anything like Apocalypse Now
Rumblefish.
or Twixt. Everyone's favorite Coppola film, Twixt.
That was visually stunning. I'll say it's really cool to see a director who we associate with the films that we just kind of listed, which are so... Normally when directors come from that kind of era, you don't really expect them to hear. Now there are some, like Steven Spielberg, for example, is a solid one, who to embrace visual effects to this extent, you know, and to see a filmmaker who cares that even in his age to really evolve. And if this story has been in development for this long, at least in his own mind, obviously you couldn't make that kind of movie 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago. Like you would need today's technology in order to pull it off. So to know that it's a passion project that he funded himself, even if this ends up not being a great movie, because I hear it's been having a hard time getting distribution. And I mean, they're going to go to IMAX, so it's getting the distribution. I hear it's been having a hard time because this does not look like a 4-quadrant picture, you know?
Not going to play wide. Not going to play to middle America.
Like I saw the trailer, I picked up on themes of like allegories with likening New York to the fall of the Roman Empire.
Or just, New York, or just like our culture, our society in general.
Yeah,
as
would
we
have been
view
New York being the
ourselves.
capital of that.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so I like visually how it looks, and even if it ends up not being a great movie, I feel like the one thing we're not going to be able to disregard is the authenticity of the voice of the director and writer with this. So that part of me is very. I was going to watch it anyway just because of that, and I don't really know how many more films the legendary Francis Ford Copolla has left in him. So I want to see this. This looks great. A lot of the cast gets behind it, and I'm sure a lot of the cast is like, yeah, whatever. He's one of those directors that he's got such a legacy that whoever asks him is going to just say yes.
Yeah,
they're just gonna sign up. Like, who the hell wouldn't?
The actors will. The financiers wouldn't.
yeah, exactly.
People with money wouldn't. But
I mean, like Scorsese and Coppola both have that problem, and this feels trippy. It's a lot of different genres in one. You mentioned like it's easy to reference Blade Runner. It's because this is very sci-fi and
and
goth and
cyberpunk and stuff. Well, it's almost splitting the difference to me between like cyberpunk and I don't know what you would call it, like
it's ultimate fantasy as well.
Roman Empire punk or something, because like you have like the giant statues literally moving around make me think of the giant holograms and stuff like that. And I'm curious to see how much this will be influenced, because it must be influenced by various films that have attempted this kind of sweeping sci-fi epic tale over the years. But obviously Francis Ford Coppola is one of our like formative cinematic voices from the golden age. So like how much of this is going to feel reminiscent, how much of this is going to feel truly broadly new. And I mean, like as just a world, as just a taste of this universe, it looks really fascinating and gripping. And very much like there are certain elements that are super futuristic. There are certain elements. There's one moment in like what looks like a sort of coliseum with chariots that literally is like ancient feeling in ways. This absolutely looks like one of those movies that could go either way. That could be like a glorious swing and a miss, or it could be a sweeping, grand scale, impactful epic. And I guess it's just the auteur's game to lose at this point. And I mean, there is that as well, because as these masters age and stuff like that, it's interesting to see who keeps the edge and who loses the edge. And I think it's, a rarer case that somebody like Scorsese or even a Spielberg, are sort of, I think, rare cases in that they have maintained their edge. And so this will be kind of a big, if this goes well, we might get a new late phase of Coppola flicks. Or if it doesn't go well,
it'll be one of those stories you always hear about.
Be one of those lamentations, of like, oh, we had such high hopes.
I mean, it's crazy. It's such a huge. I believe the budget was $120 million, and to put down your own money for that is insanity. Yeah, it's insanity.
I mean, I respect the passion.
Panned out for speaking of passion, panned out for Mel Gibson with Passion of the Christ.
Sure.
So. I don't believe it was $120 million was the cost of that.
It was the most expensive Christ movie.
Yeah, it was. That was.
I mean, it must be.
However, for this prospect, it's a really interesting one. And look forward to it because, it's got like the sci-fi, noir, grungy elements to it. But it feels like it could be artistically chaotic. And we'll see.
Yeah. Who runs society? How does it fall? Where is the hope?
Where's the hope?
The pageantry, the gaudiness. The glitz and the glamour, it's all on display, but is it real or is it hollow? Oh, yeah, and you've got Lawrence Fishburne in a car commercial.
Yeah. Driving home the noir elements.
Yeah.
Alrighty, guys. Well, what did you think about this? Are you excited for Megalopolis? How do you say it? Megalopolis?
Megalopolis?
Megalopolis.
Metalocalypse.
Are you excited for it? Leave your thoughts down below. Because it's really interesting, like when you like skim the trailer, because some shots look like they just shot it in New York. And
Yeah.
Other shots look like crazy green screen
Yeah.
stuff, you know?
And then other shots look like complete stylization.
Yeah.
And I wonder how, it also makes me wonder how much time they made this over and, like, how spread apart the shooting might have been. Because especially if you're, like, self-financing and doing this stuff, I imagine you might not have the same schedule as, like, a regular studio flick. But.
Very true. Very true. Well, guys, leave your thoughts down below. And what was your favorite trailer out of the three? And before we head out, let's do a Patron. Annie is a new super sexy reject. Ooh. And you're going to get your rite of passage shout out.
The classic.
A stands for awesome-tacular.
Ooh, yeah.
Because Jeremy Johns would absolutely recommend you to the world.
N stands for nutty, because I bet you've got a kooky side to you. I bet you know how to have some fun.
N, again, stands for Norbit, because let's face it, that's probably your favorite comedy, and to each their own.
Absolutely. And I stands for I, Tanya, because you are a figure skater, I assume.
And E stands for Equinox.
Ooh.
Because I'm sure you got the body of an LA supermodel.
Yes. And you are equal parts dark and light.
Is that what equinox really means?
The equinox of the two equinoxes of the year, yeah, the 2 days where like the day and nighttime are an equal length, and then the solstices are when one day is extraordinarily long or one night is extraordinarily long. It's like the winter solstice is the longest night of the year, summer solstice is the longest day of the year.
But they call the gym equinox?
But they call the gym equinox because obviously working out is equalizing your body, right, Annie?
And being
You
one
can
with the
vouch for
universe,
this. Yeah,
which is what
absolutely.
you are, Annie.
You are one with creation.
Because A stands for Apple. You are original.
Oh, and N stands for knowledge.
And the other N stands for no to the word no, because you say yes to life's opportunities.
And I stands for Jehovah, because Jehovah starts with an I.
And then E stands for Epstein, because you made sure to not accept the invitation, and good on you.
Good on you. That's a great choice you made.
Happy birthday, Annie.
Be well. We love you.